headed to Slough, Bandit Country, interview with a father, a friend. Another day, another podcast.
Take the exit, then turn left onto Oxford Road towards Slough.
And here we are today at Blackbeard.
Good morning. Welcome to Disqualified Dads. Today I am at the Blackbeard MMA gym in Slough, Bandit Country. I'm with my friend here, Tariq Silva.
Bandit Country, come on.
Tariq Silva, he is also a strength and conditioning coach. He works here at Blackbeard MMA, does private training, personal training, and most importantly, he's a father who has experienced a little bit of the family court system. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to come and have a chat with him. Tariq, assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam. How you
Right.
doing? Right.
Tariq, last time I was here, I was sort of sitting there, you were sitting here, you were the host, I was the guest. Now I'm here talking to you, effectively interviewing you. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Tariq. I'm currently working here at Blackbeard MMA as a strength and conditioning coach. Also, it's like a community-based gym, which caters for all like age groups from like 5 years old right up to adults. We do very well here. It's all started with brother's idea and his passion for MMA, and from that he got everyone involved and brought this up. So big shout out to Naman.
Yeah, I have to say I've been in a lot of gyms over the years, done a bit of MMA, a bit of wrestling and stuff like that, and I have to say, looking at the gym, 3 floors, it is quite a nice layout. I was going to say that to you last time, but I didn't get a chance. But it's a nice gaff. I did say I'm going to bring my gear in next time. We'll have a workout, but we'll see if we've got time later.
Yeah, no problem. No, it's over the last 3 years, it's been a process where everyone in the community gets involved. People from the local mosque, other coaches from other gyms and everything. But yeah, we've got a good bunch of brothers and sisters and families there, which all help get this thing, keep it moving. So,
how did you get into just MMA, strength and condition? Have you fought before in the cage yourself?
No, I've done martial arts and I've worked on like as a doorman for years back in the past. But my actual coaching comes in. I used to coach football in schools.
Oh, okay.
And from there, I've done personal training, and from that, then I studied a bit about strength and conditioning and added those skills with the things I already knew, and here we are.
Just out of curiosity, because look, I've dabbled with martial arts and just studied over the years. You know, the Bruce Lee generation era.
Yeah.
So, what martial art did you actually?
I did karate.
Karate, yeah.
I did karate. When I was about 12 years old, my father said to me, "You're going to go and learn a martial art." And I have to go like twice a week for about 5-6 years.
Was it Shotokan or?
It's Wadaru.
Okay.
Wadaru karate, and it helped me in so many ways as a youngster because it kept me grounded. You know, it was obviously the physical aspects of it, but also it just gave you a sense of purpose as well at the time as a kid. You know, get your gradings, get your belts. You know about yourself as well. Get to learn how you are, and what you can do, and what you shouldn't do.
You know that specific karate, because you know some of them are heavy on the bone conditioning, the knuckle. Did you do all of that back then? Like, I mean, I know these days
punching sand,
the stone, the wood, and all of that. Yeah, did you do that?
No. We watched a few like Snake and the Monkey Shadow films back in the day when we were kids. And probably tried a bit of it, but no. Most of it was when you're actually training, you'll learn how to do press ups on your fingers
Yeah,
and on your knuckles.
yeah.
But that was as far as it went, really.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, I was in a wrestling club. If I'm looking funny, I've got a stiff neck. I was wrestling last night, and
Okay.
when you have had 2 weeks off and you go right, following that day you got a lot. Neck's a bit funny, so my neck is a bit funny from last night. I went wrestling myself, so yeah. So get comfortable, right? Yeah. So Tariq, what I wanted to also ask you was, how did you get into hosting? Obviously, you're a host for Cage Closed podcast, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
obviously.
shout out to Cage Closed.
Yeah. How did you get into podcasting or hosting?
I fell into it actually. I mean, my brother, he works on TV, and back in the day before I was Muslim, before I was practicing,
Mm-hmm.
I used to sing and play. I was in a band,
Uh-huh.
so I think it was just a bit of that, and I like to talk to people, like
Yeah.
get in front of the camera and have a bit of a laugh sometimes. So I think I just fell into it really.
Yeah, because look, I have to say, yeah, when I first met you and I spoke to you, I felt it was very natural and easy just to talk to you. So when you were hosting and when we were on that last one, it was easy to just sort of flow with you in that sense. So I think you have a natural. So I need some pointers off you, bro. I'm here to learn. I'm here for learning, bro.
I've been watching a few yours. You're doing all right. Mashallah, it's all right. I think, like you said, you just got to be yourself, and as someone who's presenting a show or hosting, you got to let your guests. You got to extract everything out of your guests, so you do that by, not saying much and let everyone else talk.
Yeah. That's my
So
problem. I talk too much. I
yeah,
get told
so
I talk too much, bro.
Talking today.
I get told I talk too much. That's the problem.
No,
So,
you don't. No, it's good. It's good.
All right, fair enough. So, Tariq, tell me more about when you said, obviously, before you became practicing, what's your background and how you got back into sort of practicing as such?
Yeah, my father's Pakistani.
Mm-hmm.
In Allahi Waraj, he passed away a couple of years ago, and my mother's Caribbean. But we grew up in the 70s, and my mother took on the deen when she married my father.
Okay.
And my mum was the moving force on us learning our deen at the time. My dad was working and everything. And that's how. So I've been Muslim from birth, but I wasn't practicing.
Yeah.
But my mum done her very best at the time.
Yeah.
She went out back in the 70s. You couldn't find Qurans or any kind of books about the deen back in them days. So she went to a little bookshop in High Wycombe, found a second-hand Quran, brought it back, taped it all up, got it all working.
Wow.
And we used to read it. We used to read like every Friday before the weekend started. She said, right, we're going to have a bath and like read the Quran, the little knowledge which she knew at the time. And I think it planted the seed for us all us kids in the family. And I always remembered like one part of the Quran, used to always like resonate with me. Like, and as a kid, my imagination just used to go. And it's the part where Allah describes paradise as like rivers, gardens where rivers flow underneath, and that just used to captivate my.
So you got me thinking about something now. What you just said now, yeah, and I find this with anyone. You talk to any grown adult of any age, yeah. Everything they go back to. This will lead on to the next subject, yeah. They go on about things they remembered in their childhood. And they say, when I was a kid, we used to do this. That's what they remember. That relationship, that bond, and that time is what maps them out to be the man they are today. You've gone back to the deen today, right? Yeah. Because of what you did as a kid back then, yeah. So that childhood is obviously a very important stage of anyone's life, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the childhood is like anything which is growing, isn't it? You've got to have a root.
Yes.
You've got to have a foundation.
Yes.
If there's no foundation, then it's very hard to like cope with things.
But this is it. Then we go on to our next subject. What is going on in the community? Like you said, I know I could talk about my own kids. Yeah, that, March the 16th, 2022 was the last time I seen or spoke to them. very small, young age. When I saw them, they were 8, 6, and 3. Now they're all 9. They're 9, 7, and 4 now. Obviously, we've gone well over a year now. And that time of that childhood, that's a big gap. For a childhood, that is a small time, yeah? That's a big chunk to lose, isn't it? 1.5 years with one of your parents.
I think 1.5 years is like a decade to a kid.
In childhood years, yeah.
In childhood years. Remember when we were kids, it's like you're already, I can't wait to be 16 and I can't wait to do this on the summer holidays and everything. I think time is so important for as a child.
Yeah, and obviously with our last podcast that we shared, the platform we shared, and it makes you wonder now what's going to happen with, effectively our kids and the kids that are going through this now. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is what my concern is, that are we going to see the effects of this in 5, 10 years time?
Don't you think I think we're going for a unique period of time, isn't it, in the Muslim community, Muslim society, where we're seeing a lot of like single parent Muslims now, don't you find?
Yeah. The thing was, and this is what I've said, the Muslim community as such, and the South Asian community,
When you mean South Asian, what do you mean?
Sorry, Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi / Muslim sort of community in that sense. Okay. And generally the Asian community, like I said, like I know Hindus, Sikhs, other sort of South Asian people, because culturally we're very similar. We're the same people effectively, yeah. And that marriage, the nuclear home, the family was always a strong family unit. And as I've mentioned before, right, yeah, we were insulated from all of this up until the last 10 years. It's now, you heard the odd case here and there, but now, obviously, after what we've seen, like you said, if we had to talk about just this alone, there could be queue along up the road, as you mentioned before, yeah? It has gone, it's exploded now, yeah? I think there's multiple things that have come together, as in the time, culture, the shift, the war of the sexes, the feminist element to it. When I say feminist, I mean the radical feminism that's been pushed over the last 10 years. All of that has now exploded together, and this phenomenon has now fully infiltrated our communities effectively. That's what I think. Look, it's my feeling.
I think myself personally, right, my opinion, what I see.
Do me a favor, just shift slightly here, your chair, so because
you see it now?
Then move your chair over fully, like slightly to this corner here, yeah. So they got you there, yes. We're talking there, yeah. That's it. That's better.
All right.
So I'd have to keep looking. My neck's hurting as well. Got a stiff neck. I'm looking over this. Bit more relaxed now.
Going back to your question, bruv, I think insidiously, right, there's an evil going on, yeah, and the evil is to break down the family, to break down the family structure. It's not been happening over the 10 years. I think it's been happening over the last 50, 60 years, maybe, yeah.
No, but it only affected us. I agree.
It only affected us.
The Muslim community now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because sometimes you've got to leave the knockout punch till the last, isn't it? You've got to wear the people down first. Yeah. And the way they've done that, they've weighed down other societies, Christianity. They've weighed down
the secular society.
They've brought in like the
ideology.
The ideology, which is like destroyed like Western families. There's more people now being single parents, more people not having kids, more people like suffering and all these kind of things. And where you find religion, Islam, people who practice Christianity, people who practice
even the Jewish community is very strong. I've got to give it to them. They're tight.
Jewish families, Jewish religion as well. You'll find that the family structure is really strong. Yeah,
yes.
It's tight. There's not just mother and father. There's uncle and aunties. There's the grandfather. Everyone's got a role. There's a big structure. But so now, I think this phenomenon, what's going on, with this insidious evilness, whatever, is now coming for. It's got the strength now to come for the families.
Yeah,
I think myself that it's coming through feminism as well. A lot of it is, this culture of like being independent. You hear it so much now.
But how would that? Okay, let's tackle this in pieces, because it's something I wanted to talk to you about specifically as well. On the last podcast I was here, we were talking, and with what you just said, it's been going on for 50, 60 years. Agreed, it's been going on for a long time. they decimated the Western families, the English community, the secular sort of lifestyle where religion has nothing to do with state and all that sort of thing. You can agree, disagree, whatever your thoughts are. That's a separate issue. But that getting away from their sort of cultural, religious practices, secular lifestyle, those communities, like I said, I know when I was a kid, look, every English or white person I knew effectively was very common to be from a separated or broken family. So this is what I'm saying. It's been going on for that long, yeah. We're going back to when we were kids, yeah. It's decimated those cultures, and now it's infiltrated our culture. So what I don't understand is, even though it's been going on for that long, and this is the other element of it. So we know it's there. We know it's always been there, yeah. Oh yeah, just a little alarm. Yeah, snooze that for a minute. We'll pause in 5 minutes. So we know that's always been there, yeah. But how is it that even then we didn't know the brutality of it? Knowing all these people and all these communities going through it, yeah. On this side of it, where we were insulated, you can see it. You know they're broken families, but the brutality of when a guy says to you, yeah, my dad doesn't live with me, I don't see him. When you're a kid, you don't understand. You think, oh, no big deal, is it? Just don't see your dad. Until you end up here and you think, how has that been maintained so secretive? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Until you enter the court system, and most people, and this seems to be the same old pattern, and that's what I'm trying to get to the root of, yeah? Until you enter the family court system and you lose contact with your kid, you see the absolute brutality, the oppression, you see the evil, yeah? But that evil was in plain sight all the time, yes or no?
I think as a society, we take our eye off the ball, yeah? And what happens is the individual is taking his eye. You've got the society that takes his eye off the ball, but you've got the man who is actually going through, yeah? It's happening to him, but everyone's thinking, no, it won't happen to me.
Until
Or
it happens to you,
or you don't know it until it happens to you.
Yeah.
So that's what's been happening. But I come probably a generation before you as well, where I did see, like, you know, English people. I grew up in Slough.
That's right. That's what I forgot my point. You said in the last year, you said you've witnessed this. That's what I wanted to ask you about. So go on, elaborate on that.
So I grew up in Slough, where, you know, there was the English family structures. You know, mum and dad were together. You know, you had Uncle Tom and Auntie Mary. You know, you called people older than yourself uncle and auntie, even though, you know, just neighbours. That whole family structure and neighbourhood structure has been infiltrated and tried to be destroyed by these people who want to, like, they don't want it. They want anarchy, don't they? And the part of anarchy, all right, we're feeling it now, like you're saying, we're feeling it now because they're attacking family structure, but they're also attacking, you know,
community,
gender, all these other kind of things. They're on the path to get everyone into anarchy, aren't they? So we are now targeted, as well as the Muslim community, as trying to, you know, break down the family structure. Because I've never experienced it since I've been in Dean 23, 24 years. This is the first time now, because it's happened to me.
Your eyes. You're
now
right.
My eyes are open, and it's only till I joined certain group, you know, your fathers, looking into, like, what was going on and trying to help myself learn about what I'm in. But I've noticed, wow, there's so many people going through it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I think what we need to do now to save ourselves is people shouldn't just wait till it happens to them.
No, but okay, we're going to touch on this in a minute. Let's go to a quick break here, because there's something I want to. We'll carry on talking about it. Let's go to a quick break. We'll be back in a minute. Right, we're back after a short break. Right, Tariq, where were we? We're talking about. I'll tell you, that's it. The confession I want to make is this, right? Yeah, what personally bothers me is, and when we talk about, like you said, until you enter it, you don't know yet until it affects you personally, But what bothers me is, why didn't I know? Why didn't I know it was this brutal? That's what bothers me. And how did I not know the processes of the system when it seems to be the women that engage in this, they already somehow knew? This is my point. How is it we weren't aware But the women knew all the structures and processes of the system. Yeah, the women that have engaged in this, that is, yeah, obviously not all women. And the brutality and the secrecy and the hurdles that, you know, like how biased the family court is, as we know, Kafka's the whole lot, the CMS, and how there's hurdles placed and barriers placed for you to see your child, is that was so secret that until you enter it, and that's what I kicked myself a little bit. How did I not know this?
Because you're probably on your purpose, bro. You're probably like paying the bills. You're probably, you know, running your business. You're probably like,
Surviving,
you know,
yeah.
you're focused on like
career,
looking
job.
after your family and everything like that. And I think more times than not, when a man's in relationships, yeah, which is what I found out since I've been in this as well. Men, once they're in relationships and they've settled their families in, majority of men, yeah, that's it for life. You're done for life.
Yeah.
You're now trying to build a future for your kids.
You're focused on career,
finances, bringing your kids up right,
okay,
and everything. You're dealing and everything, and you've got no time to be like looking around. Your mate's that's happened to him. But you're not even thinking it's going to happen to you.
Okay,
as well.
All right, no, you're right. Yeah, but okay. So look, how can I put it? So look, we both got kids. Yeah. So when you were living, you were, at one point, I presume you had daily contact with your kids at some point in your life. Yeah. So when and this is what I'm saying. So even though these things weren't great, but they were my children. I was living with them every single day. Whatever happened, they're my children at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? I'm responsible for them. So even though knowing the law was biased, having some idea that the law, we know this in all Western countries, law is very biased towards women. Yeah, we know this, right? Even knowing that, there was this subconscious idea on some level that my kids, why would I never? It wouldn't enter your head that you're not going to see them,
You're not going to
or
see
that someone can physically stop you from seeing your kids.
Well, you never thought
you never thought it possible.
You never thought it's possible in that person to do that to you, isn't it? Really?
Not even that person. I never believed there was a system that will back that person up to stop you from seeing. That's the point.
But that's it, bro.
So
That's
I knew the system was there, but
yeah, we didn't. We thought it's fair.
How could someone look? Even though this has been going on for a long time, we know a lot more about this now. Yeah. Every time even now we're talking about it, I'm thinking, why, how can someone stop me from seeing my kid? As I mentioned in the last podcast, sometimes I'm driving past places where they are. Yeah. But I can't go in and see my kid. I don't understand. I don't get it. I still don't get it.
This happens to me as well. I drive past where my kids are, and you can't even go and knock the door. You can't even. You get a non-molestation order. You can't even drive down that street.
Yeah, bro, don't start on them.
Yeah, but that's what it is.
Yeah, it's horrible,
and the man is always seen as the aggressor, and he's come around. But you know what? Before we go any further into this conversation, bro, I need to say that not all women and not all men are like this. Majority of women, do you know what? They're not like this. We're talking about a minute number of narcissists.
Okay.
Narcissists, and they've been narcissists from before you met them. Yeah. Okay. They were narcissists. If something's happened in their family, something happened in their growing up,
trauma, second generation,
some kind of trauma's happened long before you met them. Yeah.
Okay.
And you got caught in the net with these people. So let's just put that out. Let's put that disclaimer.
Okay, there's 2 or 3 aspects to this now that you've touched on it, yeah, which I'm going to talk about, yeah. So when I was on the Just Pearly interview, yeah, he asked me on the spot, like, were these bad choices, were these women bad? So let's narrow it down to the ones that are engaging in the family court system's processes, yeah, as in the false allegations to secure legal aid, false allegations to secure legal aid, the children, so then you can secure everything else. So then you can secure everything else to dismantle that person, yeah? Now, a lot of cases, as we know, yeah, some of them were just normal average women, housewives, career women, whatever you want. They were normal, you could argue good women, yeah, on some level or other. But they've been sold this ideology on some level. Like one guy I interviewed, the one that was bellied up, again, things weren't great, but he goes, we would stay, we would we would have stayed there. But until she got on social media, he got married pre-social media, yeah. Once the social media, and he goes, this idea that I don't need him, I don't need a man, all that sort of stuff came about. He goes, that's how it sort of affected him. And a lot of brothers we know have been affected like that. Now, there's certain handful that have that second generational trauma. They grew up and something happened in their childhood that has affected their neurological patterns, and now they play this out in their relationships, yeah? Girls that have grown up without a father themselves. Girls that have grown up with, they call it daughter-daddy dramas, yeah? Girls that have grown up without a dad in the home. Girls that have grown up, again, in the Asian community, this is a very common thing now. A lot of brothers reach out to me now. Yeah, I don't say these things, they're reaching out to me. And they've said they've gone to see potential for marriage, right? Guess who's running the house? Clearly running the ship. Like, you walk in, dad's quiet, does as he's told. If a girl's seen her dad being a man in the house, being treated like that and operating like that, and thinking that's normal, yeah, that is how that is her programming.
She's picking up the baton to do it to when she gets married.
Yeah, this is it. And I think,
but bro, you know what? Sorry to butt in there.
Go on.
I mean, like, I'm mixed race. I come from my Pakistani side, my Caribbean side. Growing up in England, you know,
you're
I'm
multicultural.
I'm not just. I've been blessed not just to sit in one culture and grow through that. Yeah, I've been blessed to go up. And I've been married to in the Asian community. I see this happening all the time. Where men have been demasculated.
Yes.
Man's just been like, you know what? You're not wearing the trousers today. You know, I am, and that's the way a lot of people in those communities carry on, bro.
Yes.
Because in
Caribbean community, it's not like that.
It's not happening in the English things. I never really saw it that much. Everybody's got a role to play most of the time, and everyone plays it. But
okay, I put it like this though. You say that, yeah, but the Western culture generally, I don't want to label any specific community, is where we've been conditioned to believe. You understand? Social conditioning over a long time, where, you know, like, let me give you builders talk, for example. I know builders and that sort of background, yeah, tradesmen, that sort of thing. I'll have to run it past the missus. Like, you say, oh, can we do this? I've got to run it past the missus first.
That's all right, though.
That's all right. Don't get me wrong, yeah. But on some level or other, if the missus said no, you know, if you met resistance for a quiet life, you go along. We've both been married and settled, right? Yeah. Though I agree with what you're saying, yeah. There is an element of, in any relationship, especially with men, there's an element of, for a quiet life, you just think it's not worth the ag.
Yeah, but that's all right. See what I'm saying? That's all right. I agree with that. Listen, a woman runs the house, yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that's all well and good. That's healthy.
Yeah.
That's healthy. But in my house, in the household I grew up, you know, the household was run by my mum. Things like that.
Yeah, that's right. Most households are.
If something happens or something's gone out over the line, my dad only had to, like, show his eyes, or you know what, that's not happening, and it will get sorted. But what we see in unhealthy situations is that the man doesn't even want to talk, or he's been told long time ago, you know, just keep quiet.
I don't think he's told. I think he's conditioned.
He's been conditioned
into that role.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, look, I don't keep going back to other podcasts, but if in that environment now, we now know this categorically, that one person in that relationship has been given the full leverage and power of the law, of the family court, which can decimate the other human being, who happens to be the father. And like you said earlier, not all women, but let's put it down to statistics in the family court system, 90% of the non-resident parent happens to be fathers, That is an accepted norm in society, that the dad is going to leave or move, or he's not going to be with his children. That's become the normal acceptance in Western societies and countries, I can tell you in India, right, specifically, obviously things are changing, but in India specifically, if you are a Muslim and you end up breaking up, the child goes with the father. Child is over 6 or 7, goes with the father straight. That is in India, So this is an accepted conditioning that if this relationship gets rocky or it ends, as a man, you're 90% of non-resident parent are fathers. These are facts. Only 10% are women, yeah? And there are women who obviously suffer this as well, but there's 10%. That is the real numbers. That is what is going on, yeah? And 90%, those 90%, say even 60 or 70% engage in the false allegations. And you see what I'm saying? And all of these things. And then out of that, let's say 40% or 20% maybe were narcissists. They have personality disorders. They came from, a damaged home themselves. Hence, the old saying, if you saw your dad engaging in domestic violence, the chances are when you grow older, you will do that. Psychologists have said this, not me. These studies have shown. So let's say a percentage of that is from there. But let's say out of that 90%, let's say 30, 40% were just because they were empowered by the law and the society we're in now to have that weapon. If me and you go in partnership, this is my argument, right? I'll try and put another analogy. Me and you in a business partnership, yeah? We start a gym together. I'm meant to be like the silent partner, but you're the head man running the show, yeah? You're effectively meant to be, so from a masculine point of view, you're meant to be the front man of this partnership, yeah? But the law has given me the loaded weapon. So we can discuss ideas and plans. You're meant to have the final say, but I am walking around effectively with a loaded weapon. So who's really in charge?
With a loaded weapon.
Exactly. So in these...
But that's how the system's been built up, bro. The system's been built up over the last 40, 50 years by the infiltration of feminism. You go and look at all these positions of...
social conditioning, yeah.
You go and look at all these top positions of lawmakers, politicians, the people who are making up these laws now, all over the last 20, 30 years, are like feminist organisations.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
Sister Sally confirmed that, to be fair, yeah. She
Well,
said they've gone into positions of power. They've now in places, positions of power, and that's why they're so organised and they're so powerful.
False allegations. You can turn up you can get home from work, yeah, a policeman standing at your door and saying, you're not going in, you've been abusive, you've been holding her up by her throat for the last 10 years, yeah, and without any evidence or anything, yeah, you're not allowed in your house.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Or you end up in a home and you've lived there, you've bought that house, you've got your children in that house.
Exactly, yeah? It is incentivized. This is what I'm saying. How can the law be so brutal? I don't understand.
Because it's been constructed to demolish families. And what it is, the people who actually use the system, abuse the system, know that they can get away with it. Obviously, there are incidences. There are incidences where it's justified to use this system, yeah. But it
genuine victims,
genuine victims. Yeah. But you can't always say you can't always like have false allegations, yeah, or allegations thrown, and people do not investigate to see anything what's going on.
Yeah, no, you're right. And the family courts are designed, as you said, right. Since the again, I've learned a lot of Sister Sally, as you know, the last interview. I picked up a lot of information. Yeah, 2010, 2011 Istanbul Convention, UN Women and Girls, Protection for Women and Girls. So it's a 2010, 20. That is now infiltrated into every corporation, society, and across many countries into the family court system. Now you see this category.
What is that though? What is it?
It's the UN Convention, and the body for UN Women and Girls. Yeah. In order for that to exist, and this is what made sense to me, right? Yeah. In order for women and girls to be the victims, you have to have a perpetrator. Man has subconsciously, effectively become that perpetrator. So to justify that convention and that law and that body of people, for that specific law, you need a perpetrator. Man has become this perpetrator. Man in every household has become now this perpetrator. So when you go to the family courts and you see the sheer bias against men, yeah, because this is my theory now. Look, this is only a theory, obviously. Don't quote me on this, because the horror stories we've heard where judge won't even let a guy have a picture of his kids. A man going blind wasn't given. Yeah, you remember that story, yeah? We'll talk about that in a minute in detail, right? Yeah. But you sit there and think, why? Why did the judge have to ask the mother? He could have just ruled that because in the their books, their teaching, whatever it
Their
is,
guidance,
the
yeah,
guidance, the system
lines,
as it
yeah.
is appease the victim. Automatically, the victim is mum. Let's not call it women. Mum is the victim. Automatically pander, because they pander to this all the time. Yeah, they reward this and pander to this, and it has to go back to the UN, this Istanbul Convention for Women and Girls. And don't get me wrong, like I said in that interview, it should be there to protect legit victims, but that is leveraging automatically onto men's. It's basically because of that convention. It's the sort of knock-on effect. It's infringed automatically men as a species. So in order for that to exist, we're here now. I'm in this suit here, and we're sitting here talking about this.
Yeah,
If that didn't exist, we wouldn't be here. It's
You
just a
wouldn't be
knock-on.
here.
It won't. It's
Yeah.
a knock-on effect.
But it's another tool to demolish the family structure. The way to demolish a family structure, yeah, is to get rid of the strong unit in the house.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
There's a. I don't look. I'm not a learned man, as you know, but I read this somewhere, or someone told me some real practicing brother, or someone he told me, like, I don't know where it's written, but it said categorically in some religious text, Islamic religious text, I can't quote where. If you want society to fall, yeah, women fall first. You don't go for the man or the kid, nothing else. You go for that one sex, women. If the women fall, society will automatically follow. That's what they said. Someone said, and at the time I didn't understand it. I understand it on some level, but not to this extent. I look at it now, and I think it's bang on, because in the family court, as you know, yeah, there's practicing sisters. And the other thing is, which we'll touch on in a minute, yeah, these practicing sisters have practicing brothers and fathers who are supporting this. That's the other thing I can't understand. Yeah, they're allowing this to happen, but they claim to be practicing people in the community. And the so-called we spoke about last time, yeah.
Well, they don't want to take responsibility, do they?
Why?
It's
their grandkids.
I know people.
Or their nephews and nieces.
I know people it's happened to as well. As you say, you know, everybody sins. Everybody's got weaknesses. Yeah, but it's happening too much. Yeah, the sister, the mother, whatever's going on and doing that. Why isn't the brother? Why isn't the uncle? Why isn't the father like saying, "Hold on a minute, this isn't right.
There's a damage in the kids."
Why is it then not even the father? Why can't you even go and speak to your local imam? And he says it's not right.
Okay.
No one address in the Islamic communities in the UK. I can't talk about anywhere else. You don't see it being addressed. Yeah, they'll talk about anything else, but the scholars, the imams, the fathers, the father-in-laws, no one wants to like stand up and say, as the majority, this is wrong. This is not right.
Okay, why? What do you think? Like, why? I mean, you're right. There is silence, other than, as we mentioned, Sheikh Haytham's the only one that spoke out about it, and he got a backlash. Yeah, but all the other sort of really across the board is silence, complete silence. I can't tell you one talk I've been to where they've addressed this and talked about this and said to people, do not deny, your children, your grandchildren, or your nephews and nieces, if they're going through this. This topic seems to be, so it's like, not that they're talking against it, they're not talking about it. So I'm not saying they should talk either side, but why not even, there's nothing, silence. More, they
especially
actually,
in the Asian community.
Yeah, but they're more, and like I said, it's going to come out eventually anyway, I've said it, yeah. The social media sort of so-called muftis and whatnot, yeah, they sort of keep promoting the hadith about, and this is what I've now known. Until I entered this, I wouldn't have seen it. It's very subtle, but they're promoting the hadith about the rights of the wife and the rights of the mother. I have, look, on TikTok, I've had backlash on some of the videos I've made here. Sisters quoting certain social media people and saying even they said the kids should go with the mother, kids go with the mother, kids go with the mother automatically. Like, now,
why do what sisters saying that?
Sisters are saying that, and they're quoting other social media people saying he said this and he said this. That means the kids go with the mother, point blank. And I'm like, why?
But this is the problem as well. What's happening in the Muslim community, in the Islamic community, Muslim community, is that everyone's got an opinion nowadays. Yeah, everyone's a scholar. You should just be referring back to Quran and Sunnah, right? And even in this country, the common sense is telling you, why does it automatically go back to the mother? Whose surname do they take? Whose surname do the child take
it's the father's.
when the child's born? Is it the mother's?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
Is
No,
it?
it's not.
It's
It's
the
the father's.
father's.
Yeah, it's your
So
name. He's going to carry your
that
name.
shows some kind of ownership, doesn't it? If I'm buying my car and I've got to go to DVLA, whose name am I putting on as the keeper of that car? I'm not putting Joe Blogg's names down. Yeah, it's the person I'm going to be putting my name down. That's the name on my children on my children's surname is my name. So how come the woman thinks it's automatically hers?
Yeah, but listen, I'm still bemused. And look, until I entered this year, I had the illusion of community and got the Muslim community. Don't get me wrong, there is community culture there. It comes with a lot of things. But when you enter this, you realize, mate, there is no community. There's no culture. No, you're on your own, bro. Like
You're on your own.
You're on your own. And the community turn. Once the false allegations are placed on you, in my personal experience, the community turn on you. People you don't know even rock up at your house that you never met. You know, they've never even bothered to ask a question. These are knowledgeful. These are meant to be knowledgeful people, and this is what I'm saying. The community effectively only exists, I think, in people's head. I don't think it's real
because the community is not been run by it ain't been run by Quran and Sunnah, and it ain't been run by like upright men, is it? It's been run by people who are just running on either who funds their community, what government grants they're going to get to keep their mosque open, or whatever. So they keep quiet on certain issues. Okay, they've been hushed up.
Do you honestly believe that to be the case?
Yeah, I do. I think it can't be just happening in one place and everywhere else. It's there's
it can't be a coincidence. Okay, look, it can't be a coincidence that you're either getting silence or you're getting support towards subconscious. It's not. They're not open. I don't believe it's done openly where you can see it. It's done under your nose. It's hiding in plain sight where they're indirectly, because there's the people I get a backlash from on social media. Some of them, yeah. I'm not knocking them. Look, some things I've said are slightly controversial. You could argue, yeah. But they're effectively using what they've heard from certain speakers on social media to back up their argument that dads should shut up, pay CMS, and just disappear. Like that is and I sit there and wonder, and my sort of thinking is, look, that's me today, you today, tomorrow, that's someone else's son. So I say to these sisters, that's your son tomorrow. That'd be your nephew that's subjected to all of this. Do they not realise this?
But sometimes in women's woman's nature, she's not thinking of the future, bro. She's thinking about here and now, what her feelings are navigating her. When a man jumps, he's looking where he's jumped. Where am I going to jump? I'm going to jump there. With a woman, she'll jump and then, all right, that's where I've jumped to. They don't think before they jump. Men usually, logically, we think before we jump. No one's thinking about what's going to happen in the future. Yeah, all that's going to happen in the future is that we're going to have single parents, children being brought up with an unbalanced upbringing. Yeah, all the statistics show about mental health, about how many people in jail are single parent from single parent families, how many people turn to drugs as a substitute for what they're feeling and everything.
So if a woman now,
it's all because we've lost this family value. We've lost the family structure.
What we'll do, I'm sat on talk. We'll go to a quick break. Yeah, back in a minute. Yeah. Right, we are back. Tariq, conversation was going into a very serious direction. Shall we carry on from there?
Yeah, let's carry on.
So, obviously, I was a bit nervous earlier talking about it, but let's be blunt, it is what it is, yeah. I was, like I said to you, the community element from me was, once I entered this, I realised none of that exists. And as I've mentioned before, I may have said it to you before, the elders, like especially in the South Asian community, yeah, how it used to be in the South Asian, India, Pakistani, Bangladesh community back in the day, yeah, where you had elders. You know what is referred to as elders, sensible people, yeah. So you could go to them and they will call the situation out for what it is, regardless if it's their own son or daughter. Let's put another example, yeah. Son's not working, he's lazy, he's not providing, he's not picking his game up, and he's got married, and he's not treating the woman right, legitly, by not working, and not taking his responsibility seriously. Yeah, the boy's dad would say, "Son, you need to fix up, right, sort of thing." If the girl wasn't pulling her weight or whatever, or doing her sort of bit, the girl's mum or dad would say, "Listen, you're an embarrassment to the family. Please, you need to pull your game up, whatever."
Yeah,
when you hear it from your own mum and dad, this is the difference, and this is what's happened to I believe the Asian community now, specifically, yeah, Muslim community, Asian community overall, right? Yeah, those elders are all dead. They're gone. They don't exist. Now, parents, they will pull, and I've witnessed this. I have witnessed this. I was present in meetings. Yeah, I've heard fathers say, "I will pull my daughter's corner no matter what, even if she's wrong." This is the man that was present. I was in one specific meeting. This man was present at this meeting there to try and save his daughter's marriage, apparently. But he's saying, and this is the attitude.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Now, we got kids. Yeah, we got kids now, yeah? You got kids, yeah? How many kids you got? You got kids, yeah?
I got 5, yeah.
Right, I got 3 kids. And I tried putting myself in that situation, and I thought, okay, my daughter's come home, or son, either or, yeah? It doesn't matter, either or, yeah? They made a mistake. They did something wrong. Legitimately, they're wrong, yeah? Let's put it up, even if it's your own brother, your own sister, mum or dad. They legitimately know they're in the wrong, yeah? I'd like to think I'd say, "Listen, son, daughter, brother, sister, whoever, I think you're wrong regardless, yeah? This is my opinion on it. I think you are wrong. I've looked at the whole situation. I've heard all sides. So why is it, in our community, what's happened is when it comes to your own, right, there's just a now natural thing of cover up, blame, lay blame somewhere else. And that is what is adding to the problem. Those elders are gone. There's no one sensible. So not just the government, your mum and dad are teaching you, not just adding to the problem, they're teaching them how to play these games.
Because everyone's lost the value of integrity, bro.
But they still claim to be practicing.
Everybody's claiming, everybody's more worried about being shamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the community. Yeah. What's he going to think of me? But integrity, it should stand amongst everything else, isn't it? I know a girl. It's a few days ago. Yeah. Her daughter scratched up a car. Yeah, and she's only young, she's only a little girl, but she took her down to the police station and got the police to tell her little daughter off.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to that mother, yeah.
Yeah, showing
responsibility.
Doesn't matter if it's some mothers will stand there and say, "No, it wasn't my child, it wasn't that." And that child will now grow up thinking she can get away with everything. So yeah, you're right. Integrity will sort that out. But in this our communities now, I've lost integrity.
Completely.
I've lost integrity.
Like I said, as mentioned, I don't keep saying that, but even just because someone appears to be practicing, yeah, do not assume they have integrity. That's the other thing. That's my fault. I mean, no one should assume anything, but it's just a general, you see someone from a practicing family appear to be practicing. There's human nature from the community. You just assume, oh, look, decent people, down to earth, practicing people. Obviously, that's a mistake.
But we're all weak, bruv. I gotta say, we all have weaknesses. We all make sins and everything. But if you go up the ladder, yeah, there should be someone there to put you in place.
But they're all dead, as I said. They're gone.
Even when you go to the top of the ladder now, to the imams, to the actual, how it should be running. Yeah, we're not getting that integrity at the top. We're not getting those talks in the mosque on a higher level than we do.
Okay,
we need more of it. We need more of it.
I'm going to throw a different angle to that. Yeah,
everyone's scared. Sorry to butt in, bro.
No, carry on.
Everyone's scared. Yeah, well, I've come across. Oh, what would the women think? Oh, what would the sisters think if we talk about this? No, if something's affecting the community, speak about it. It doesn't matter who's it's going to hurt their feelings.
Okay, but why have they got like that? Why would they say that? My point is these imams
Because
and
when
people
they go home,
that,
bruv, because when they go home, it's not the imam running his house, is it?
God,
That's the reason, though, isn't it? It's not the imam running the house, is it? It's not the man who's the man who's talking. Yeah, don't when he's saying.
Okay, I've spoke to.
It's not him running his house.
You're right. I've had people get in touch with me. Yeah, scholars. I'm not talking about no famous stuff. Just low guys that have gone through alim school, scholars, hafiz, imams, normal guys like they are imams and that. They're saying they've looked at some of my videos around coercive control specifically, and how it's employed. Yeah, they said, yeah, this is happening to me. I've become a passenger in my own life. So they've got problems of their own. So we're not tackling the whole of the religious sector in that sense.
We're not. We're just saying
those specific imams, let's say, that have responsibility. Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate. Yeah, what do you think? What should we expect them to do? I mean, if they turn around and say, right, okay, what is it that you want me to do? Like, number one,
should speak up. According to Quran and Sunnah, we are just laymen. We don't know nothing.
I agree.
We're not versed in tafsirs and hadiths and everything like that.
Yeah.
But we've got a different responsibility. They've got another responsibility. Yeah, they've got another responsibility which we don't hold.
Okay, that's
but if they're not making that responsibility clear. Yeah, they're just acting like the layman, and they're just acting like us, someone who's got no knowledge.
Okay, so the second argument to that, then,
but they are different, bro. They are different. I want to make that clear because, like, I'm not a scholar. I'm just like I'm a layman.
I'm layman with you, bro. I get it.
We look up to
them.
We expect them because that's their duty. They're the ones who wanted to be imams. Yeah, they're the ones who held that position, or whoever in authority.
So those in the higher positions,
they've got the responsibility now to look after their flock, their community.
If you put it like that, okay, fair enough. All right. Well, the other thing is this. The other argument to that is, well, none of them have. Okay, let me put it another way. For those who have been in, you mentioned narcissistic before, yeah. Obviously, that word gets used and thrown around everywhere, left and center, Unless a person has been in a relationship of where coercive control, so it's not done in your face. You believe you're the leader, but you're being managed and manipulated. And to a certain degree, when someone has your child, they demonstrate unpredictable tendencies, but they are the primary carer to a certain degree, and the law has given them that loaded weapon. So though you may appear in charge, you may have some position there, ultimately you don't really have. You can't fully bite down and say, right, this is my final say, because we know loaded weapon, narcissistic traits, coercive control, my favorite subject. We can talk in depth about that sort of behavior. And if we tackle it from that angle, if you go to these certain, whoever these imams, the people with the higher, I'm talking about the higher status guys who are staying silent, if they've never experienced this, they have no idea what you're talking. They're socially disconnected, and because I have the in-depth knowledge into coercive control and I've seen all sides of it, I can understand it and talk about it. I could talk to a guy now, random, any guy. We talk for about a minute, about this. From what he says, I will clock whether he's experienced it, whether he knows what he's talking about or not. If he, within a minute, I'll know whether he'll understand what I'm saying or not, because there's red flags. There's certain things you can tell straight away if a man's experienced the same thing or not, If these people have never experienced this, they don't have no idea. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, what's your wife not doing? What do you mean?
That's not. I don't even think that's an excuse for them.
Okay,
a doctor hasn't probably experienced a broken leg, but he knows how to fix it because he's trained. He's gone and studied for 7 years, 9, 10 years to how to fix a leg and how to put it in plaster, the mechanics of the body. Yeah, these imams, they might not be going for it, but they have to be like, they're like welfare officers. They're like social. They're like your social worker. An imam is like your social worker. Islam had social workers. We taught the West how social workers work. most of their laws, most of Western laws, I think come from the Islamic perspective.
Yeah.
You know, even like benefits and everything like that. We brought that there. So why are we now not at the forefront?
They
Still,
sold out, maybe.
we've sold out, bruv. Everyone wants to like just eat.
Well, look, the sisters in family court, yeah, and you've seen the horrors of family court, yeah. You've had your run-ins with family court, yeah. As far as I'm concerned, many sisters have sold out. They've sold their culture, their religion, and their children for this evil in family court. As far as I'm concerned, they've sold out completely, yeah. Financial gain, to lay blame. Some of them were coerced into it by the legal aid lawyers and this women's aid group. Some of them were coerced and they're sold into this. They're sold this basically. Back that up with the mum and dad supporting these sort of behaviour and staying silent. Brothers who were staying silent. Brothers of these sisters who were staying silent. They're guilty. They're from the community. They've sold out. Imams keep promoting this certain hadith about how Jannat's at the women's feet. That's been quoted to me. Someone's quoted that to me. Kids go with the mother because Jannah, paradise is at the mother's feet. You get, you know.
Yeah,
I get sisters throwing all of this at me.
Don't you think this is what's happening though, bruv? Let's turn it up another way, yeah? Because I think majority of Muslims fear Allah. I think, yeah? But I think that 10% of the women we're talking about, or that 3% of those women we're talking about, and men, yeah, they're the ones who are getting the spotlight. Yeah, they're the ones who've been, you know, out of 1,000 people applying for a job as an imam, they're the ones getting that job because they're gonna like bend to the narrative of what the so-called people who are giving them that mosque, or who are living in that country, for instance, with the democracy behind it. That's the narrative they feed into. So I still think I still got hope, yeah, that we can change this around because the majority are just not being listened to. Just like how it is happening now. The richest 1% are running the world, yeah? I think the ones who sold out, that 1%, are actually in some places running our Islamic
I think
communities.
under our nose. I think a lot of this is, like you said, it's hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, but we as a community, we as Islam, as Muslims, yeah, we've now got to stand up as a majority and don't let this false thing going on where we think it's the majority who think like this, because it's not. It's not the majority. It's like LGBTQ. It's not everyone running around with purple hair thinking that I'm non-binary. No, it's a very, very small minority. But because it's been flooded onto social media, we now think it's like everywhere. Yeah, because all we do now for information is seek our phones, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think on a positive, we need to people have got to now wake up, ain't they?
I think, okay, look.
In our communities, they have to wake up.
No, but this is what I'm saying. This is the purpose of this, innit? If we can show people the reality, and this is why we're here, and expose the brutality that is hiding in plain sight. This could be so all the youngsters. I talk to a lot of youngsters in their 20s that are looking to get married this year, next year. They're in that sort of phase of life now, yeah. And I don't think they fully understand the magnitude of that next step where and like I said, I talked to a lot of youngsters saying, I'm talking to this girl, I'm not 100%, but I'm just presuming once we get married, settle down, things will just work out. Nah, bro.
No.
And we need to put out the red flags. We need to make them aware of this evil that's in plain sight, the brutality of the family court system, and the biased laws that are against men. And effectively, as I say to people, I personally believe this. Look, you're from a certain generation. We grew up at a certain time in a generation, yeah? I look at my nephew. He's 12 years old now. One of my nephews, he's 12 years old, yeah? Another 5-6 years, what? He's 18, 19, yeah? He gets involved, say, with a girl. Say he gets married, whatever. And this system, it's just getting more and more brutal from what I can see. Is he going to be emotionally strong enough to deal with what I know is there, the law, the gender war that's going on, the oppression and the war on men and boys? Is he going to be strong enough to deal with it? I spoke to a guy in America the other day, yeah? he was meant to go see a guy who was going through divorce, and that guy, the guy he was meant to see, was from the same town I was born in, Lancashire, but they're both in America now. He's going through divorce, right, this geezer, yeah? Because I was on my way to see him. Someone said, go and have a chat with this guy, support him, and that. He committed suicide. My point is this: we need to continue this exposure to the point before we get to the stage where it's a street to street affair where you say so and so's boy topped himself, so and so's boy committed suicide. Because people have no, until you enter it here, people have no idea
the amount of
the
men
horror
committing suicide is, it's gone off the scale.
10 men a day post-separation statistics have shown, they've calculated some research I did and some calculations, they reckon 10 men a day post-separation average suicide. CMS will keep putting it out there, I'll keep saying it. CMS responsible for approximately 1,000, I could call them suicide, I call it murders, 1,000 homicides, murders a year. That's what they're responsible for. And until those who deal with the CMS, they have no idea of the brutality of the laws and the power CMS have.
The torture they put you through. The torture you put you through, yeah. So we have, like you said about your nephew, you know, he's 12 now, what's going to be like in 7-8 years' time. Another positive thing what's happening now is like these podcasts, what we're doing, what a lot of men are doing now. Before, you know, you wouldn't see so many guys doing, like getting on social media or getting on talking or getting in magazines. Every magazine was a woman's magazine back in the day, wasn't it? Yeah, because we were getting on with a purpose. We were building the world. You know, people were like, men were taught like, you know, just get on and get on with it. But now, I think there's the light. I think the door's been opening now where men have had enough as well. And we've had enough, not to say we're going to go out all blazing, and like, but no, we're going to have to now put our foot down and realign the boundaries, bro. Because people are jumping right over the boundaries, and doing what they want to do. Look at because men have been just like demasculinized or not been given the media front to talk, or we've been just getting on with our purpose in life. These people have just jumped over the boundaries and just skipping around, think they can do what they want. But
if this has been going on for 30, 40 years, this is what I don't get. We're doing this now, right? Exposure. We're trying to bring exposure, But that family court system machine, the family court machine's been going for 20, 30 years. They've decimated other communities, So why is it the exposure was still not to the magnitude? If we're doing this now because of what we've seen, why is the exposure not being still to the extent? Or is it just that it's easier to expose now because of social media, I presume? That's what it is. For the average guy, I suppose, before social media, where would he have gone to talk about this? You wouldn't. Would you wouldn't,
because men hanged about with men, didn't you? You went football together.
But would never get out.
You know, the non-Muslims, they went down the pub. The Muslim men, we all go to the mosque. We're not. And then when we get together, we're talking about work and things. We're not. We kept our eye. We took our eye off the ball. We thought society was being constructed and maintained by honourable people who's got the community, got society at the forefront of their ambitions, but they haven't. It's about bringing society down. I don't know. It's like this anarchy thing. It's like this thing. I was talking to someone the other day, and it's just my personal opinion. I was just thinking, it's all constructed. So, you know, you have a criminal. You get someone that's not. You know, he gets into criminal behaviour because he can't get a job. Then he has to go through he gets arrested by the police. That keeps them in the job. Then he goes to court. The barristers, and that keeps them in the job. Then he might end up in prison, and that keeps them people in the job. Social workers. It's like all this anarchy is being like this anarchy machine. Is being put together over the last 30, 40 years to keep these people at the top in jobs. Because everyone I've mentioned at the moment, they're all good jobs. Policemen, like people, barristers, lawyers, people working in the prison services and all that. They're not short of a penny, are they? They're never going to be out of work, are they?
No. It keeps that certain
It keeps
group,
that
that
establishment,
working class in there working.
a certain establishment. It keeps them all working, doesn't it? Keeps them all like profiting out of society, doesn't it? And us lay people, the people on the ground, the people who are having to work, you know, we're just the fodder.
That's what I'm saying. I was happy with that, Tariq, but they just took my kids away. I was
Yeah.
happy to do it. I was a good slave, man. Why did they take my kids away?
Yeah, because now your kids are entering. Since they've taken
I was
your
a good
kids,
slave.
but since they've taken your kids away and my kids as well, we've entered the system.
Yeah.
We're paying
They're
now.
still
We're
making
paying
money,
now for
yeah.
solicitors.
They're making money off of
We're,
still.
so now the other day I found out, you know, you want to keep like some kind of, you want to keep some of the contact with co-parenting, you've got to pay for this app now. So the app's like 50. Everything's like
costs money. The whole family court machine generates real good money.
What's the figure?
Almost, again, Fathers for Justice, their studies have shown that it generates more than the defense budget, which is 70 billion a year.
70 billion a year.
If you add it up, 2 houses, they send 2 sets of furniture, all the moving up and down, the court fees, the judges. So by them giving legal aid to one party generates, so let's say they give one party 25, 30 grand legal aid, solicitors, lawyers, barristers, they all make that money, judge makes his money. Then the other side has to spend all his money in defending it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes any value out of that family. That's your children's inheritance, effectively. House is gone, money at your estate, which is then shared across the system, and then you got to go back and then sort of rent a house, buy more furniture. Still, it keeps that economy.
Keeps their economy going.
It keeps you in that working class struggling as well.
And you know the ones who suffer? The children. 200 children every day, or is it every week?
Every day.
Every day are taken away from their fathers. 200 children a day. Go and put 200 children in the playground, yeah, and then you'll see how many children are being taken away from their dads, yeah, every day. It's not a little figure,
no,
yeah,
yeah.
And we're talking about our community, the Muslim community, because that's where we live in. But as a society, I'm feeling for everybody.
Yeah, I think this is a major problem. This is a major problem for
what is there 200? Is there 200 like? Let's break it down. Say 3 kids in every family, whatever. Is there like 30 geezers every day, like going home and abusing their wives and every day? It's not. It's all just they're false allegations. 40, it's just like gone out the window now.
40,000 molestation orders handed out last year.
Yeah, on
like
WhatsApp.
Yeah,
what's that about, bro?
But they're dished out like sweets. They don't care. This is what I'm saying.
It's
people
dished
say
out
these
like
are genuine
sweets.
victims. They're not all genuine victims.
My ex-partner, yeah, she's gone down the court. They've said what they want to say, yeah. The court believes it, yeah. Next thing you know, you're coming home from work, ping on your phone, it's a WhatsApp message, and that's a non-molestation order. What they can give you on a non-molestation order on a WhatsApp like that? Yeah, what's going to change your life?
Yeah, you can't go to your street, you can't go to your home. You're potentially homeless. You're walking around lost. And in some cases, I know they've not gone back for over a year to defend it. So them guys have been walking around homeless. I know cases like that. Tariq, before we carry on, let's go to a short break and we'll continue this on in a minute.